Masai Ujiri delivered. Brandon Ingram to the Raptors. Does this move surprise? It seems just early reaction on social media. A lot of people are like, I thought we were in a rebuild. What's happening?
All right, this one's layered. I'm going to take off my glasses.
Here we go, ladies and gentlemen.
Because you're right. It has been a lot of back and forth, a lot of mixed emotions on this one. And I think the cost of doing business here was very low. Bruce Brown, Kelly Olynyk, and a 2026 first-round pick from Indiana.
That's right.
And
That's
Indiana's going to be good, right?
Yeah.
As long as they take care of business, that pick is not going to be too great. Now, you're getting a guy in Brandon Ingram that can score 20 in his sleep. Yes, there are some, red flags, some yellow flags where he's concerned in terms of age and timeline with a Scotty Barnes and injuries. But I think what he does is bring an element that the team doesn't have. A guy that can just go out there and fluidly put buckets up when they go through those dry spells, those lulls where they can't get a basket. But then, you're thinking, what happened to the rebuild? Mm-hmm. Well, the team also won a string of games recently, which changes the way you look at what this rebuild is. Now it's become a refurbish, retool. And I think the importance in that is you don't want to waste Scotty Barnes' years because he's shown you, his growth. He's definitely matured, and now you have to adjust and adapt to that if you're Toronto's front office. And I think that's what this move is. It also says, okay, look, a guy like Grady Dick or whomever, these are going to be problems for Coach Darko. Somebody's going to the bench, right? And that makes your bench better as well. The other side that nobody's really taken into account is I don't think this move is going to impact your draft projection this year, right? Brandon, he's not healthy yet, so he's probably not going to play right away. And at this point, you've added talent at a low cost, but at the same token, at the same time, you're still going to be in the same position to get a good draft pick in a good draft. So you're adding talent on both ends. So I think it's a win-win, and you get a chance to really see Brandon Ingram up close. And again, I repeat, at a low cost, and that's the important thing.
But we should mention he's a free agent at the end of the year. So that's something they need to concern themselves with. Jimmy Butler said he didn't want to go to Golden State. Pat Riley said, guess what? You're going to Golden State. And Jimmy Butler said, I'm not going to sign with Golden State. Jimmy Butler immediately signs with Golden State. My question for you is, though, there's some alpha dogs on that Golden State team. I'm thinking of Draymond. I'm thinking of Steph. Jimmy Butler might be the ultimate alpha dog. How's he going to fit in all that?
First of all, I'm glad it's over. I think that had become a soap opera. It was like Days of Our Lives. But for Jimmy and that squad, I don't know if I love that fit. Like you mentioned, the alpha dogs. And you have Draymond now. You have Steph. You have a Jimmy Butler. And so much of Golden State's offense is predicated on movement, on shooting, and space. Is Jimmy going to buy into that? I'm sure it's a lot easier because he's happier. He's 121 million richer, right? So that makes it a little easier, a little better on the minds of the players and Jimmy himself. But at the same time, now Steph has moved back on the ball solely because Dennis Schroeder was traded as well.
Yep.
And I'm thinking, okay, he's back on the ball, and you have a non-shooter on the floor that also wants the basketball. Right, that's going to take some time for them to get acclimated to one another, to get on, get some synergy there. And a lot of these blockbuster trades are great on paper. They're great for us. We can sit down and talk about it forever. But how many of them have materialized into, a championship that said year? Now, Golden State Warriors are at the bottom of the West right now in the play-in positioning and looking up. I think that does change their projection there. But does this turn them into a contender today, tomorrow? I don't believe so. Do they get a lot tougher? Yes. But to win a game in this league, you got to have more points than your opponent. And that's going to be my question for them.
Good news with Jimmy is you always get the good Jimmy at the beginning. Yeah. And you've only signed him for 2 years. So you're getting mostly good Jimmy, hopefully. And then another 50 for Canada's own Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Last time you were on the show, he scored 54, and he was texting you saying, I could have had more. Yeah. And then after this game, he's saying, I could have scored 70. Yeah. It's amazing how his expectation of himself is probably higher than anybody.
You know what? Story time. So last week they lost to Golden State Warriors, and he scored 50 in that game as well. But he also lost the game. That said night, he called his trainer, Nathaniel Mitchell, and flew him out the following day. And to me, I'm thinking, okay, again, a guy that has just scored 50. It was like 52 or 54. And he's more concerned with how I can be better. You know, we lost this game. He was ticked off that they lost.
Yeah.
Flew his trainer out. And you're seeing results tonight, right? So for me, it's always, you know, just watching him play, it's amazing to see him put, you know, the ball in the hole. It's amazing to see his improvement from, you know, his rookie year to now. And you think about it, he's also a guy that's gone through a lot of turbulent times early in the league, right? He's traded on draft night.
Yep.
And then also in that blockbuster trade with Paul George.
Yep.
And that builds mental toughness, mental stability in this league as well. So for him, I've just really been impressed. And he's obviously front runner for MVP.
Yep.
I think he's also making a statement. Like, I'm not losing it this year. Lost out last year, and I probably should have had it. This year, I'm making a statement.